Respect the name.
Respect the name.
Respect the name.
Respect the name.
Yo, respect the name.
Respeta el nombre.
Respect the name.
Respect the name. Oye, repeta.
Respect the name.
Hey, how's it going? We're the space station. I'm Eddy Crash.
Master computer.
Aladdin firm.
Yeah, so we actually started this project as a podcast. It's a late night talk show set in space called WFRSDE, the space station, short for Wyatt Fireside, the space station. We started making original music for that while interviewing a lot of LGBTQ artists in our community in Brooklyn, and got to make that this really fun kind of like Space Goes Coast to Coast music Eric Andre talk show. And that evolved into making music. We met Aladdin firm through the project and wrote our first single for an album that wasn't even close to happen, and then we did that and called it WFRSDE, which is out now on Bandcamp.
Now individual.
You want to start?
Start with what?
With
How you got your individual
called
name?
yourself Eddy Crash.
Oh, so I grew up in my town's local punk scene, and I just kind of started grinding by singing in bands for a while. That's how I started my career. And the name Eddy Crash picked up because I was a folk punk, so like Eddy Crash is here, Eddy Crash is there, crash on your cousin's couch. And it's just like a joke my friends came up with at the teen center that I worked at, and it stuck, and I've been using it for my music career ever since.
My creator abandoned me. Now I am the master.
Great. So I am Aladdin firm. I am very inspired by 70s rock and roll. My big inspiration is David Bowie. He had a really iconic album, if you know, the one with the lightning bolt across the face. So the name of that album is Aladdin Sane, which means a lad insane. And of course, if you're insane, you're sick in the mind. So I wanted to pick a name that embodied him, but wasn't just directly ripping him off, because that's no fun. So if you're infirm, you're sick in the body. So I decided to use Aladdin firm as like a little homage to him.
So, like I said, we started this project in the pandemic lockdown. Me and Master Computer were just kind of like hanging out on Discord, making beats together, and just like goofing around with like drum sampling. And there was this Vine that came out like a while back from this guy, I'm not gonna remember his name now, but we sampled that in one of our songs, and we started out as a group called Dem Peach Boys. That lasted about 20 minutes because that's mad embarrassing, so we're just like, never mind. As soon as we're out amongst real people again, we're like, no, we can't do this, we have to get it out of here. And then the space station came together from, I worked in a studio called Space Studios. I worked at a rock club called The Space. It was just this weird like thing that just kept popping up, and I was always really into sci-fi growing up, so try to take it more serious and pivot in a direction that's not as like jokey.
So what about you guys?
Individually.
Actually, since you mentioned them Beach Boys, 3rd grade Spanish. That lasted 5 seconds.
Not 3rd grade Spanish. There was a song we wrote called Phil Kessel because I just think he's a dope hockey player. I wanted to write a song about like an athlete that I was really into, and yeah, there was a line about like I'm Puerto Rican, but I can't speak Spanish worth anything because I'm also half Irish and I just didn't grow up around it. So like, yeah, I got like a 3rd grade Spanish reading level. It's not great.
I got nothing. Aladdin firm is a one and done.
Good for me.
Sorry.
Yeah, so like I said, the project started with me and Master Computer, and we started working on this late night talk show, talking to a lot of queer artists in Brooklyn and the other 5 boroughs. I work as a drag producer in the city too, so I do a little bit of like show production with these people. So when lockdown hit, I wanted to give them a platform to still promote their work online. That evolved into, we just kind of started writing tunes together. We're having fun doing it. We had the song Day by Day. That was the first single we ever dropped. And then shortly after that, Aladdin firm came to work on a session.
I bought that single.
You did. You promoted that single on TikTok for me.
You're welcome.
Do you want to take it from there?
Sure. So yeah, believe it or not, Eddy and I met through TikTok, which is a very weird sentence to say, but found out that we both enjoyed a lot of the same music. had just started talking and also realized that we didn't live that far from each other. So he asked if I would collaborate on a song that he and Master Computer were working on. And it was supposed to be a feature originally. I was just supposed to come on, do the hook, and bounce. But we liked working together so much that they both invited me to just stay on the project, and just became really good friends and started. I think I slept on your couch every day for like a month as we wrote an album.
From the day we met, because I was like, this is great, this is incredible. Anything that I wrote before this, I was like, that's not what I want to do right now. And then every day for a month, we were just hacking at it and working, and we dropped it on New Year's, 2021.
Yep.
And now individually.
Master Computer, you want to take it?
What was the question?
What inspired
What
you?
inspired you?
Well, I always wanted a jumpsuit.
There you go. You know what I'm saying?
I always wanted a jumpsuit. That was my dream. I got that thing so bad.
There you go.
Manifested. Boom.
Boom. So, I'm also a drag and burlesque artist, and I'm very inspired by, I said before, 70s rock and roll, punk scenes of the 70s. So, like, the scene that I'm a part of, doing just, like, really weird performance art. It's like a punk scene. Everybody that I know really takes care of each other, and their art informs my art very, very much. So I don't know, I'm inspired deeply by my community that I get to hang out with really cool artists all the time. And I'm also really highly inspired by my dance mentor, Professor Robert L. Reed. I grew up a tap dancer, so I'm really highly inspired by a lot of music and dance from the early 1900s, like through to the 1960s and to today, because I've gotten to learn from a lot of great tap masters and also people who are like in the business right now. So I've just got like a really deep appreciation just for performance altogether.
So I started out, just like I said, banging away on punk guitars and like playing in bands and stuff. Became a singer-songwriter through that. I had a really great mentor, Phil Hovey, who runs a great punk shop called Good Rat's Hair Workshop in Milford, Connecticut. And he really kind of took me under his wing and showed me how like the scene works and how to like put a show together and make sure all your friends get paid at least a little something for their time. Taught me what words like equity meant when I was really, really young. And just kind of folded that into working in clubs, started exploring different genres because I grew up in the Bronx around so many different kinds of music. Obviously hip-hop primarily, but like all kinds of stuff. And I just wanted to find a way to kind of play with all those genres on an album. We did that, and I found out I could rap a little bit, and I'm getting a little better each day.
It's been really nice meeting you guys. We're the Space Station. If you want to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, you can follow us at The Space Station NYC, and that's us. And if you want to find us on Bandcamp, look up The Space Station, and also on Spotify. Look up The Space Station on Spotify. Please give us some listens. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Respect the name!